It was 4 in the morning when my life in Evergreen Meadows turned into a circus. Blue and red lights were flashing across my bedroom walls. My heart was pounding like it wanted out of my chest, and a cop's radio crackled just outside my house. My neighbor Karen, our glorious HOA president, had just called 911 and told them I was holding people hostage inside my own home. And you know the insane part. The hostages were 2 shivering women in swimsuits standing in my backyard, waiting for me to unlock my pool. Yeah, that's how this nightmare started. Act 1. The conflict begins. 6 months earlier, I'd moved into this neighborhood. I'm an architect, proud of the house I designed myself. Big windows, clean lines, and in the backyard, my pride and joy, an illuminated pool. It wasn't a community amenity. It wasn't shared. It was mine. But Karen didn't see it that way. To her, my pool was the community's premier aquatic asset, or so she screamed at me through a bullhorn aimed at my window. Picture this me in pajama pants, half asleep, peeking through the blinds at a 50-something woman in a pristine white swimsuit, flanked by 2 mortified inspectors clutching towels in the freezing dawn air. She barked, "Open the gate. This is an HOA inspection." I yelled back, "Karen, it's 4 in the morning. This is my private property. Go home before you wake my kids." Wrong move. Her face twisted, she yanked out her phone and shrieked into 911 that I was aggressive, violent, holding HOA officials against their will. When the cops showed up, I braced myself for cuffs. Instead, the sergeant looked at me, looked at her, then deadpanned. "And ma'am, you were conducting a placidity test at 4 a.m. Even her inspectors cracked. Turns out they thought they were headed to a sunrise mimosa party. Karen left humiliated, dragging her bullhorn and towel like a defeated villain. But before disappearing into the dark, she glared at me with eyes so full of venom I knew this wasn't over. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. A week later, I got a letter thick enough to choke a paper shredder. Gold embossed, signed by Percal Finch Esquire. According to him, I'd committed crimes against community harmony. My pool, an architectural bully. His demands: drain it, fill it with dirt, plant kale for the neighborhood surrender, my house keys for an arrogance audit, and my personal favorite pay, $5,000 to attend a re-education seminar hosted by Karen herself. I laughed, sure it was a prank. But a quick search proved otherwise. There was no attorney named Percal Finch, no law firm either. I dug deeper and found his Instagram. Percal Finch wasn't a lawyer. He was a wannabe actor. Shakespeare monologues in his car. Headshots with bad lighting. And in one family photo there, he was arm around Karen's daughter. The lawyer was her future son-in-law. So yeah, the HOA president had recruited a broke actor to play lawyer and threatened me with kale gardening. At that point I had a choice: ignore her or fight back. And honestly, I almost walked away. My pool was stained by her lies already. My neighbors looked at me sideways. My morning started with anxiety. For one night I sat there staring at that ridiculous letter and thought, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I should just give in, keep my head down, and let Karen run her kingdom. But then I looked out at my pool glowing under the lights and thought, why should I give up what I built just because she's loud and unhinged? That's when I called my family. My sister, a corporate lawyer who eats weak legal threats for breakfast. My brother, a cybersecurity wizard. And my mom, the sweetest retired social worker you'll ever meet, armed with nothing but a smile and a homemade coffee cake. Together we built a war room. Within days, my brother discovered the real bombshell. Karen had set up a shell company called Suburban Elegance and was quietly paying herself $2,000 a month from the HOA account. That's $120,000 of stolen neighbor dues over 5 years. Suddenly, her obsession with power made sense. HOA wasn't just her stage, it was her ATM. So we flipped the script. We planned a neighborhood pool party, formal invites, catering, jazz music, tiki torches, the whole 9 yards. And guess who wasn't invited? Karen. The night of the party, my backyard buzzed with laughter. Neighbors who once avoided me clinked glasses, complimented the house, asked me for renovation advice. And all the while I could feel Karen's eyes burning from her darkened windows next door. But she couldn't resist. Around 9 p.m., a drone buzzed over the fence, hovering above my guests. At first, people laughed. Then the drone dropped something plop into the pool. Within seconds, the water turned a sickening blood red. Gasps, screams. My pristine pool looked like a crime scene. It was insane. And it was perfect, because my security cameras caught the entire stunt in 4K. 40 neighbors saw it with their own eyes. The proof wasn't just strong, it was nuclear. Act 3. The Showdown. The next morning, my pool was destroyed and I was exhausted. But when I looked at the angry, determined faces of my neighbors offering to testify, I realized this wasn't just my fight anymore. My sister drafted a blistering cease and desist backed by actual statutes and had it hand-delivered to Percal with the line, "You've been served." Then she prepared something heavier, a full criminal complaint, evidence attached, financial fraud, false police reports, property damage, the drone sabotage. But before the DA could act, Karen and Percal imploded. They blasted the entire neighborhood with a 1,200-word manifesto calling me a criminal mastermind who staged my own pool sabotage and a false flag operation. They even cited the Code of Hammurabi as legal precedent. No joke. The DA loved it. It proved malice, defamation, and insanity all at once. She moved quietly, subpoenaed HOA bank records, planted an undercover investigator in Karen's meetings, and confirmed every rumor Karen had ruled the community through fear fines and lies. The trap was set. At the next HOA meeting, where Karen planned to push through a $500,000 beautification project, the clubhouse was packed. She strutted to the podium, gavel in hand, glowing with triumph. She thought she was untouchable. "All in favor," she crowed. Hands shot up. She banged the gavel. Motion passes. That's when a woman in the front row stood. "Excellent news, Madam President, because now we have a quorum for one more vote." She flashed a badge. "My name is Assistant District Attorney Harris, and this meeting is officially over." The room froze. Detectives slipped in by the exits. The ADA turned to Karen. "You're under arrest for grand larceny, embezzlement, and conspiracy to commit fraud." Karen's face drained white. Percal tried to sneak toward the door. "Not so fast, Mr. Finch," the ADA barked. He was cuffed before he reached the knob. Karen shrieked, pointing at me in the back row. "He framed me. He's the criminal." The ADA shook her head. "No, ma'am. You did this to yourself." Then for the final blow, she projected Percal's fake lawsuit onto the screen, complete with its potato stamp gavel. The crowd erupted in laughter, echoing around the clubhouse as Karen was marched out in cuffs. That was the moment the Queen lost her crown. And that's where my story ends, at the sound of an entire neighborhood laughing at the tyrant who once ruled them.